Anxiety is the most common mental health disorder in the world. Anxiety doesn't just affect the mind, it impacts your sleep, your relationships, your physical health, and even your career. And if left unaddressed, it can silently drain the joy and vitality from life. To heal, you need to get the basics right. Eat a balanced diet, move your body, and get plenty of sleep. Cognitive behavioral therapy is the next step, helping you recognize and reframe anxious thoughts. And when needed, a psychiatrist's guidance and medication can be truly life changing. But out of all these tools, I believe nutrition receives far less attention than it deserves. And that's what we are going to explore in this video. Hello, this is Trilok. I'm a dietitian. In this video, we will explore what anxiety really is, the science behind it, when is it considered a disorder, how food can influence anxiety, what to eat and what to avoid. Before we begin defining anxiety, we need to understand fear. Fear is a reaction to an immediate threat. Imagine you are being attacked. You either fight or you run. This fight or flight response is your body's automatic survival mechanism, something we and other animals have relied on for millions of years just to stay alive. Anxiety, on the other hand, is about anticipation of danger, failure, embarrassment, or pain. It is a mix of fear that something bad might happen, worrying about how to prevent or handle it, a vague sense that something is wrong even if there is no clear reason. So, unlike fear, which is a reaction to something immediate, anxiety is about future or imagined threats. What happens in the brain? When you sense danger, a region in your brain called the amygdala detects the threat. It sends an urgent signal to the hypothalamus, which activates your stress response. Heart rate increases, muscles tense, breathing quickens, you become hyper alert. This is what we call the fight or flight response. But here is the twist. In the brain, we have two key systems constantly communicating with each other. One is called the basal ganglia, which takes care of many basic survival functions. It regulates body temperature, controls hunger and thirst, stores emotional memories, and contains the amygdala, the brain's fear center. The second system is the cortex. This is where intelligent thought happens. It's involved in abstract thinking, decision making, and imagining future possibilities. In fact, studies on Einstein's brain showed that his parietal lobes and prefrontal cortex were unusually developed, possibly due to a genetic edge, but also from a lifetime of intense mental use. That gives you an idea of how powerful and trainable this part of the brain can be. Now, here is the issue. When you're simply thinking about a stressful event, like failing an exam or being embarrassed in public, your cortex knows it's just a thought, but your amygdala doesn't. It treats that imagined situation as if it's real and triggers a full blown stress response. That includes the release of neurotransmitters and stress hormones, and that's what leads to the actual experience of anxiety. To give you an example, imagine you are watching somebody rock climb. Your heart races and your palms sweat. It can also happen before or during an important exam or while you are waiting for an MRI report. Anxiety is a normal human emotion. It's your brain's way of keeping you safe. According to DSM-5, anxiety is considered a disorder when it is excessive. The fear is out of proportion. Persistent, it lingers even after the situation is over. Disruptive, it interferes with your daily life. And over time, this can lead to fatigue, brain fog, muscle tension, sleep disturbances, and digestive issues. Now, we know that risk factors for anxiety include not just psychological and environmental factors, but also nutritional and biological factors. One key biological factor is an imbalance between excitatory and inhibitory neurotransmitters. Among psychological, environmental, nutritional, and biological factors, it is hard to say how much each one contributes. So let me be clear. I'm not trying to overstate the role of nutrition, but at the same time, we cannot underestimate it either. Nutritional psychiatry is an emerging field of science that explores how food influences brain function. There is now a tremendous amount of research connecting food, gut health, inflammation, and the brain. So, now that you understand how anxiety works in the brain, let's look at how certain foods can either fuel the fire or help calm it down. If you eat a large amount of simple sugars or high glycemic index foods, or if you skip meals and then overeat, especially foods like white rice, here is what happens. There is a rapid spike in blood glucose which leads to a strong insulin response. Then glucose drops suddenly within 1 to 2 hours. Since the brain is glucose dependent, this drop is perceived as a threat, leading to anxiety like symptoms. Watch my video on diabetes, where I explain how to choose the right carbohydrates and how to avoid rapid glucose absorption. Artificial sweeteners can affect anxiety in two ways: directly by suppressing GABA, the calming neurotransmitter, indirectly by damaging your gut microbiome and causing dysbiosis. Gut inflammation affects serotonin, GABA, and your HPA axis, all of which are involved in anxiety. Diets high in saturated fat increase gut inflammation, increase neuroinflammation in the brain regions tied to stress and emotion. Studies show these diets are associated with higher anxiety scores. Caffeine stimulates your nervous system, raises cortisol and adrenaline, reduces GABA, and increases glutamate, the perfect storm for anxiety. This combo can worsen anxiety symptoms, especially in sensitive individuals. For most people, caffeine up to 100 milligrams a day is well tolerated. But for those prone to anxiety or panic, even 1 cup may trigger symptoms. Excess thyroid hormone can cause anxiety, insomnia, irritability, and restlessness. So, if you're losing weight without trying and feeling anxious all the time, it's a good idea to check your thyroid levels. Now, let's talk about foods and nutrients that help support your brain chemistry, calm your nervous system, and help reduce anxiety symptoms. Amino acids, which come from the protein you eat. Tryptophan, the building block of serotonin, your feel good neurotransmitter. It is found in pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, oats, tofu, curd, and bananas. Tyrosine, needed for dopamine and norepinephrine. You will get it from lentils, soy, almonds, and again pumpkin seeds. Glycine and GABA, the calming amino acids, you'll find them in beans, spinach, and fermented foods. Vitamin B3, B6, and B9 help your brain make the chemicals that keep you balanced. Vitamin B12 is essential for mood, energy, and health of your nervous system. Low vitamin D levels are linked to anxiety and depression. Vitamin C supports adrenal health and reduces oxidative stress. Magnesium is your nervous system's natural relaxant and a regulator of GABA. Iron is critical for dopamine synthesis. Low iron means fatigue, poor focus, and higher anxiety. Zinc helps brain signaling and neuroplasticity. Calcium supports nervous system signaling. Deficiency can lead to irritability and mood imbalance. Omega 3 fatty acids, especially EPA and DHA, help reduce neuroinflammation and improve neurotransmitter function. Fiber and prebiotics feed your gut bacteria, which improves serotonin and GABA signaling. Probiotics support gut brain axis, which is vital for mental well being. Natural sources include curd, homemade pickles, kanji, kombucha, and pickled vegetables. Here is something that most people don't realize. When you're anxious or depressed, you're more likely to crave comfort foods, things that are high in sugar, fats, and salt. These very foods can disrupt your gut health, fuel inflammation, rise and crash your blood sugars, making your anxiety even worse. It's a vicious cycle. The only way out is to give your brain the nourishment it truly needs. If this video helped you, please give it a like, share it with someone who might benefit, and subscribe for more science-backed nutrition videos. Thank you for watching Nutritional Perspective. My next video is going to be on depression, which is, I think, a very important topic. I'll see you there.